Hey, everybody, it's time for another edition of Inside Lion Athletics. I'm Charlie Chua. We get things going, rolling right away. I've got Coach Joe Morales of the volleyball squad. Coach, you're getting closer and closer to the start of conference play. But, man, have you got a good, fun weekend planned ahead of you this week?
Yeah, I think you put it on the money. It's going to be fun. We have a big one coming in. Houston on Thursday, so we get to see them at their facility, a nice facility too. So we're looking forward, and we got a lot of Houston kids, so that's going to be a good fan base there,
Right.
And then we move into Tennessee State on Friday, and then we finish up on Saturday against Ole Miss. So we're you got a Big 12 opponent, and then you finish off with the SEC opponent. So we're kind of excited about that.
I know we're almost yawning over those anymore, though. They're just so commonplace, it seems. We were talking a minute ago, and there's so much good that comes out of going out and playing up in weight class before the start of conference play. But how do you keep the kids' balance on that?
You put it in perspective, right? Because when I'm scheduling these games, I mean, this is the direction we want to go, and this is what we want to do. And so people that are on board are going to fight and get to that point, and you've got a lot of young kids coming in, and it also helps with our recruiting as well, because we want to be playing at that big stage. We want to get to that next level. And we know it's going to take some time, but there's no present time to do it than right now, especially as young as we are into the D1 world.
They'll heal faster, right?
Yeah, absolutely, and you're not always going to see that kind of competition into the conference. I mean, you may see it here and there with some of the top teams, but for the most part, it's been good. And the beauty about it is you can have fun and enjoyment of these games. So that's what we're looking forward to, and competing.
Had a big swing last week. Everybody came out healthy,
yes.
hopefully.
Yes. Yeah, everyone came out healthy. We like I told, Jim, our athletic director, and we've been playing well. It's not like we've been losing these battles. We've been playing really well. We played well against TCU. We played well against Prairie View. We've been doing a lot of good things. UCLA, I'm going to chalk that one up to playing back-to-back. But, we've been playing well nevertheless. And so the chemistry is there. The fight and the grit is there. Tweaking some things, and I think those things will help us in going into the conference, which is next week.
With this segment of the season almost done, who's been shining? Who's kind of jumped up there that you might not have expected so much of?
Wow. Well, I really say, I don't know if I didn't expect it, but it came earlier than expected.
Okay.
Reese Fetty has been passing really well, and she struggled last year with that skill, and it's to the point where she's helping us in our offense a little bit, and so a little bit more secure in that notion. So really excited about what she's doing in the back row, as well as the front row. But the passing game has just been on point. Her, Jade, and Millie have been keeping our offense going a little bit with the passing. I'm excited to see what happens in conference, and a lot of these younger players step up. Grace Campbell came from Nichols, and I think she's going to do really well in a conference. MJ, our transfer on the right side, looking for her to get going as well. She's struggling in blocking a little bit, but she's also struggling against big teams, not the small teams. So looking to see what she does in conference, and then I'm really looking for Roper to make a breakout, whether it be this weekend or into conference on the right side. So.
Couple of times we've talked about the different style of play when you're up against a real tall squad like you had that last trip out,
right.
And you're saying we're going to play faster and try and outquick them.
Right.
Are you comfortable? Did you get the quick you were looking for?
I think so, and I think it's still going to be a work in progress. But I think with Ellie at the helm of setting, I think that has helped us a lot. Our middle Avery has been shining. She's doing a spectacular job, and I still think she's young. And so the fact that she's doing it on this level right now as a sophomore looks for the future to be bright. She's been hitting positive numbers really well in the middle, and that's going to be helping us to open up some of the things on the pins. And so, I like the way that we're playing. We are playing a little bit fast, and I think our defense and our dig to transition has been really great. I mean, Jade has been outstanding in the back row. Like balls, I tell you, I mean, this kid is digging balls from all over the court, no matter what you give her. So, we're excited, and I think we're on point to where we need to be.
All right. I got to ask, you go
Sure.
down to Houston for the Cougar Challenge.
Yeah.
Are y'all playing in the Fertitta Center, or do they have
no, we're playing in the Fertitta Center,
man.
so we're excited about that.
Have good popcorn there, I can tell you. We had a game there a couple of years ago. So
we're excited. We practice there tonight, and so we're excited. And, the Houston staff are good people, good friends of mine as well. And I'm excited to be down there. Like I said, it's a good travel trip for us, and being at that level and seeing that facility. I mean, again, you're playing on the big stage again, so this is going to be an opportunity for us, and we want to seize as much opportunity as we can going into all 3 games. But we're looking forward to it. So, and then we get them first at 7 p.m. tomorrow. So that's going to be a good matchup, and it's gonna test us a little bit, but we're excited about that.
So you get U of H tomorrow. It would be Thursday at 7 p.m.
Right.
And then how's the rest of it work out?
Then we'll see Friday. We'll see Tennessee State. I believe that's a 3 p.m. game.
Mm-hmm.
And then Saturday we'll finish off and we'll see 2:00 p.m. Ole Miss. So that's going to help us well. And the beauty about this one versus last week, we played 2 games in one day. Here we're playing just 1 game a day.
Right.
So the rest and the recovery is going to be very crucial and helpful for us moving into the next game.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, Coach, I know you got a bus to catch.
Yeah, we're on our way to Houston.
Sure glad you were able to spend time with us, though, before you headed out.
Absolutely. Any Lion fans out in Houston, come on over to U of H and come and support.
All right. Lines up. We'll see y'all in just a few minutes. Thanks, Joe.
Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate it.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back for some more of Inside Lion Athletics. Coach Morales and the Lion volleyball team on its way to Houston. I have Athletic Director Jim Curry joining us now.
How's it going?
Hey, man, it's great. It's Wednesday. We're halfway to the next game.
It is. It's an exciting day on campus, too. We just got back from the ribbon cutting for the new Welcome Center. Yeah.
That thing was looking good. A lot of people got eyes on it, too, this last weekend with tailgating.
Yeah, it's pretty. Now, I'll say this, too. There's some really nice views out of some of those offices right into Memorial Stadium, too. So, if we got to do a little bit of recon over there, we know where it's going down.
Have you put dibs on anything already?
Not yet.
Not yet.
I'm still too new to do that, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
Well, yeah, you got the right title, though. So. So what's up in your world? Man, that was a great atmosphere on Saturday. Big tailgate going on.
Yeah.
Had the extra fun down at the pavilion. And, the band comes in, and they're showing off a new thing.
Oh, they are. I'll tell you, their new leadership is outstanding. And what I love about what they're doing is being proactive and bringing new ideas to us as well. And, I think they've learned pretty quickly that we're an easy yes when it comes to the band and anything they may want to do. So, but they were fantastic on game day. And, I think I'd always heard about how great the band is here, and that certainly held true when I first got here my first season. But to their credit, I think they've taken it to another level now. And so as we talk about leveling up what we're doing from an athletics perspective here, but leveling up the university, I think the band has really answered the call too, and they're leveling up to another level. So kudos to them. And same can be said for our student section. Students showed up in massive numbers last weekend. We had more student ticket claims last game than we did all of last year.
Wow, that's awesome.
So, they're showing up. They had a great time. We put out a fan survey this past weekend after the game for anybody who had a ticket, and appreciate those that had responded to it. We got great feedback on that, and overall very positive. Certainly some things we can try to clean up too, of course, and that's a little bit of the purpose of it, but also important to know what we're doing well, and a lot of great feedback on the atmosphere overall. So, really appreciate everybody coming out. The crowd, obviously, it spoke for itself just in terms of numbers. Students were engaged, band, and we'll just keep working at what we can do to get in the win column next time.
Okay, so off the field, what were some of the big wins? The big tents at the south end zone. Those looked like they were engaged.
Yeah, south end zone was awesome, and those folks had an opportunity to be about 5 feet from that fumble recovery in the end zone, right?
No.
And I think it was Max Epps got up and was high-fiving everybody along the rail there.
I know.
So we felt like we could create a close-to-the-action type of experience. Little did they know they're actually going to be part of the experience.
Brock
in the action,
Calloway
right?
owes me a dime back. So we found a dime in the press box, and I said, this is my wager. If a player will go by and high-five people on the back of the end zone at those luxury tents. That's my dime.
It only took one game.
And I missed that somehow.
Yeah.
So Brock's got my dime.
Well, then you need to get it back then.
Coming for you, pal.
There you go. Now we know first order of business when you get up in the booth this weekend. All right. I got you. But, no, I mean, Tailgate was outstanding. The energy and the buzz there was awesome. You know, the band introduced a new pregame performance that they did at Tailgate. That was well received. You know, we had people all over the place this weekend, donors, special guests, and we'll get to them, I'm sure, in a minute. I mean, I told our group, it felt as much like a game day at my previous institution as it has since I've been here, just because of all the stuff going on and the energy around the weekend. And so, you know, and what I know is that there's still more to tap into too. So we're excited about this upcoming weekend, a great opponent, family weekend, all that, and would love to have everybody back out.
The next time, after this Saturday, the next time we play at home, it's going to be a Southland Conference opponent. That's how far we've gotten into the season, just like that.
Just like that, yeah. It's flying.
So what else you got on your plate?
Oh, what else do we got cooking? Well, we had a great weekend with Jim Thrower and
man,
Carlos, and I know you spent some time with them. We had the special release there. I mean, you talk about opportunities to kind of hear from just iconic folks who've done something, right? And hearing the message to young people today. But what I took away more than anything from the weekend with them is the relationships they've built across the university during their time here. And again, John Carlos was only here for a year.
Yeah.
But I felt like every time I turned around, someone else that was connected to him was coming in to see him, and he's calling people. And, you know, you know, we had a little bit of a session with some of our scholar athletes after you guys wrapped up on Saturday. And, you know, I told our students, you know, I'm going to take them back to the start of the year when I meet with them at the beginning of the year, and we talk about how this place is really special in a lot of different ways, and how if you can give and pour into it for, you know, 4 years or however long your tenure is here, it will give back to you for a lifetime. And you know, how this is a place that, you know, you start here, you can really go anywhere. And those two guys are just the embodiment of it, right? I mean, just incredible. So, you know, just really grateful for them taking the time, but they had a lot of fun. And that's what I was hopeful, is that when they got here that they could reconnect and re-spark some of the memories and you know, all the good feels. And I think that exceeded maybe even their expectations as well. So
that's great.
It was a great weekend. I mean, and they were just so gracious and awesome with their time, and it was really fun to have them back.
Well, it was sure fun visiting with him. Jim Thrower, man, talk about he had to feel like not Jim McMahon, Ed McMahon from the Tonight Show years and years and years ago, because Johnny and the other guest were doing all the talking, and he just got to sit there and listen to most of it. But it was so cool that, you know, we could get their stories, and so many people know about Carlos's story just from one photograph.
Yeah.
But to know that Thrower had some involvement in that and, you know, participated in it from a distance along with the other student athletes, I thought that was really, really cool.
Yeah, I think kind of the whole story around it, right, and the connectivity. And, you know, it just, you know, what's so special about athletics and the team dynamic of it is, you know, you may be here for 4 or 5 years, but these teams, they only have a 1-year life cycle, right?
Yeah.
And talk about a guy that took full advantage of the year that he was here, and you know, in building meaningful, lifelong relationships. And that's what athletics can do, right? And that's what this place can do for those that are willing to kind of lean into that, right? And so it just reinforces just the incredible dynamics and you know, of not just the people, but the place, and what it can kind of foster and do for folks. So, again, it just, you know, when you can kind of take a step back and just observe it and see it and kind of marinate it a little bit and appreciate it, it's really cool. So
the Thrower Athletic Achievement Center, did I hear this wrong or right, that it was time for kind of an upgrade down there, and, of course, Jim's on board with that?
Yeah, totally. And so, you know, I told him while he was here, I wanted to make sure he understood the impact of that space and with respect to the outcomes that it's producing.
Mm-hmm.
And we've talked about our academic accomplishment for our student athletes here. Even John Carlos had an opportunity to meet Delon Edwin, who broke his record here in the 100 and the 200, was a national champion and an All-American and an academic All-American, our first one in Division I. So that was kind of a special moment that kind of happened organically, and being able to talk through that. But then, what we're doing in terms of graduation outcomes, I think we talked about on one of the earlier podcasts this year, 8th highest number of graduates on any Division I FCS roster in the country. Currently for this team, a cum GPA across the department of a 3.14, about over 2/3 of our student athletes with a 3.0 or better. I'm sharing these statistics with him and letting him know, like, that would not be possible without this investment.
Yeah.
And so now the question is how do we take this up to another level, right? And so how do we layer in not just academic support skills, but personal development and life skills overall? What do we do to improve and maybe individualize some of what we're doing from an academic perspective, whether that be mentors or learning specialists and those types of things? So I think we're always constantly looking at how do we continue to add additional layers of support to improve or increase outcomes for student athletes when they get done playing.
And that Academic Achievement Center, that's coming up on its 10th birthday, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and it just got a new facelift in there as well. Got some new paint and some new graphics going in, and then we'll be looking at whether or not we need to update some of the technology in there as well. So just continuing to look at ways to enhance that student athlete experience while they're here.
That's awesome stuff. Okay, what's next?
Well, what do we got going on later this week? Oh,
there's another football game on campus.
There's a football game for sure with Family Weekend, and Hunt Regional will be here with a large group as the game sponsor for us, so we're appreciative for their partnership and their support. But we're also going to announce something at the football game, but we'll tease it here, right? All of our listeners and subscribers to this, we'll give them a little bit of insight into some scoop, right? So
you can't tell me, Jim.
Not that one yet. Although that one's kind of out there at this point. But
I guess I didn't ruin that. But
Oklahoma softball coming in October and playing here in Commerce in a fall game.
This October,
next month, right? Really to kind of kick off homecoming week is what it'll be.
No kidding.
Yep. And so what we're going to do is we're going to, for our Lion Athletic Scholarship Fund donors and our season ticket holders, we're going to make that season ticket available for those folks early this next week. And anybody that gets in on season tickets or renews from last year, we'll get the Oklahoma game as part of that package as well. For free. So we're excited about putting that out and getting folks involved. Let's just say I think that's going to be a hot ticket for sure. So, but we're excited to get that out there and to start to promote that now that we're kind of getting into that a little bit. We touched on a little bit of that lull on the home schedule for football.
Right.
But we will not be short on action here in Commerce with our other sports. I think next weekend we've got 4 straight days of action at home with soccer and volleyball. And so – and 'tis the season.
Indeed. It is that. Well, we'll have Coach Valerie and Coach Rose in here before too long.
Oh, yeah,
it's not going to be long before they get in the rotation.
They start their kind of their 20-hour week schedule. I think that's the 23rd, maybe Monday. I think
that's next week.
Monday, next week. Yeah.
Holy
so
moly.
Monday they start hot and heavy, and then it's here. I think we're like 40 days out from basketball season.
I know. November's going to get here so fast. And then my wife will never see me.
That's exactly right. We call it the overlap season, right?
Yeah, indeed.
It's football on top of soccer, on top of volleyball, on top of basketball. And
then you get it again in the spring with basketball, and then tournament and softball and golf.
And that's the thing, part of softball, too. We led the country in number of home games in Division I last year, and very likely to do that again, at least based on what we're doing with our schedule. And if everything holds true across the country, I think we'll be a leader in that again as well. So continuing to create value for our season ticket holders and those that have the all Lions all-in pass. But like I said, now with Oklahoma coming into town, just sweetening the pot a little bit for those that support us.
Just ask anybody in the SEC, where's A&M Commerce? They'll be able to tell you. What else?
We got the Rebels this weekend, and actually in volleyball action down in Houston as well. Ole Miss.
Oh yeah.
That's right. So So that's that I guess that's the
a
latest. We got a lot going on.
So I got to ask,
Yep.
what kind of grade did the surveys give you and everybody from the first football game?
Yeah, overwhelmingly positive. There's definitely some areas we got to clean up. We're going to take a look at a little bit better clarity on some of the parking. We're going to take a look at what we're doing from a music and video perspective. We've got we're going to pay a little bit more attention and try to get a little bit more focus on those reserve seat holders and making sure that they've their seats are there when they get there.
Oh yeah,
right? Yeah, we want to be sure
important.
of that, right? So those are, I think, some of the major take. And then I think we hear this one a lot, but continue to look at what we can do to soften some of the pressure in the concession space. So I would say those are probably some of the key takeaways from where we've got to continue to improve. But overall, though, very positive response on what we're doing from game day production and those types of things. So, like I said, I think I told our team this too. I always appreciate that we're more critical of ourselves than maybe others, but that's what we have to do to get to where we want to be.
Sure.
And so, if we're pleasantly surprised by the results of something like that, then that's probably a good thing because we're in the right headspace in terms of where we want to improve, and I think that's where we found ourselves. We knew we did some things really well. We knew there's some things we could clean up, and I think that survey reinforced some of those things, so we'll put some attention there for this weekend and continue to get better.
Did you expect 5,000 people in Memorial Stadium when everybody's puppy dog started showing up on the screen to read out all the names out loud as though they were, it's puppy dog?
That was
awesome.
I don't know if I'd call it a tradition, but it's a cool in-game experience when the pets come up and 5,000-6,000 people are screaming the pets' names.
Did they yell before? I'm looking over here where you can't see. Yeah. We didn't hear that before. Maybe there weren't enough people last year.
It's been a few years, and I think the band took a leading role in that as well. And I will say this: when we put that out, I think Avi had about 25 responses in the first half hour.
Yeah.
8 minutes. Yeah, 8 minutes. So 8. Yeah. So it was. And I think we ended up with close to 100 by the time we got to kickoff. So
I know I got to send him 3 more.
Well, there you go, right? So I think part of the issue is we don't have enough time during the timeout to get all the pets on there. So I keep telling the group I want a dog park in the stadium, but I'm going to get that at some point. I promise you. But that's my next venture. But
I'll bring Lulu. She would be properly behaved.
If the risk management guys are listening to the podcast, they might have just died a little bit, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah. All right. Well, Jim, our time always goes so fast. Is there anything else you want to chip in this week?
I think we're good today. I just if you like passing offense, you're going to like this weekend because we've got 2 of the top 25 passing offenses in the country coming in this weekend, and so. There should be at least some fireworks in the air this weekend in Commerce. So we'd love the support. Come out, and, we'll see what we can do on the field.
All right.
Awesome.
Go Lions, folks.
Go Lions.
Jim Curry with us here for a little bit. We'll be back with more after this on Inside Lion Athletics. Welcome back, everybody, to Inside Lion Athletics. I have Ashley Gordon, our women's soccer coach, here to my left, your right. And, Coach, y'all are getting ready to jump on a bus again.
Yeah, actually, we're flying, Charlie. We're not busing to
thank goodness.
UTRGV. Yeah, no, we're flying. We play Saturday. So, excuse me. Actually, we travel Saturday. We're playing Sunday at noon Central Time, of course.
UTRGV.
Yes.
First Southland Conference game of the year.
We are. And so we're excited. Coming after, off of the weekend, just trying to recover and back out at training all week with many days to prepare and get ready for our opponent. So we're excited.
God,
we're excited for the conference
Coach,
to start,
the way things have been going for you lately, there's a lot of extra room on that bus on some of these trips, or the plane for that matter.
Yes. As I mentioned last week, we've had a number of injuries. We had 2 players that did return to the field that were actually very impactful when we went to Grambling.
Mm-hmm.
Camila Montero's her first game back when we played Grambling, and then Campazano was sidelined with an injury, and both returned and very, very impactful against Grambling. Ashley Camposano scored the very first goal in the first half, and then actually she assisted Camila Montero's goal for the game tie, against Grambling. So, and with 7 minutes to go in the game, Camila had a second goal, which was called back, but I was really pleased to see not only both of the women return to the field, but were impactful, the minute that they stepped on the field, which was great. So it was good.
All right, so Francine had a little bit, and we're talking about Hurricane Francine. Didn't come over this far northwest, but Grambling was kind of on the path of blustery winds and rainy days.
Yes. When we played, it was really the major storm had blown through, but we had, I tell you, the field conditions were pretty severe, and that I think affected the play, to tell you the truth. But we had, a day of it was just steady rain, really, on the day that we played.
And that takes us to conversation about the different facilities. Not to just look at Gramblings, but before we got started, we were talking about how big a difference it is when you play on turf versus on grass. The Lions practice and play on grass, and that's a recruiting cookie for you.
It really is. We've got a great field, and certainly our hats off to our crew that takes care of the field as well. But we train and play every game on natural grass. But it is a huge recruiting tool, to tell you the truth. I mean, any time that I'm speaking to a young lady that is considering an opponent that has turf, I absolutely bring it up. One, you have less injuries when you're playing on grass as compared to turf. And I would tell you, playing in the state of Texas through August and September, it's 120 some odd degrees, and so
nice lush Bermuda yard is kind of nicer than.
It is. So anyway, but no, I love our field, and our players love our field, and it's certainly less wear and tear on the body, for sure.
You've had such a rough year with injuries. Now the hope is, as conference play gets closer, you'll get 1, 2, and 3 of these back at a time over the course of the next month and a half.
We do. We already have a player that's been sidelined that will be, she's in practice all this week, and then we'll be playing this weekend. So we're excited to have Savannah Powell back, who is also a threat up on our front line. So we're excited about that. And we've got a few that just are trailing that we're not going to be able to travel this weekend, but I'm anticipating that they're going to be back in practice next week. So, happy with that. But, when we went to OSU, we were down a number of players due to injury. And not only is that difficult, you're also walking into, a game that we're playing against a team that's number 12 in the country, OSU. And, of course, they're a great team. By looking even or reflecting over our course of the season and even this past weekend, 2 players that I want to mention. Our goalkeeper, Jill McKenzie, has been playing really, really well. Really well. OSU had 14 shots on goal. She had 8 saves. And there's other games, especially even when we played against Grambling, which was a threat in front of our net. But she's playing very, very well. And so, we've been really pleased with her. Tell you our most consistent player that we have right now is Marina Vera, who's one of our starting outside backs, can play right or the left, but she's been awesome on both sides of the ball. She's been the player that we've had to make sure that she's marking or defending the opponent's best forward. And then in addition to that, she's been flying up, up the line, really playing 18 to 18-yard box, but has been on the end of creating a lot of opportunities for us. And so she's been playing lights out. So I'm really, really pleased with how we're progressing through our non-conference, season in regards to play and possession. And again, I mention this all the time. We create a ton of opportunities. Just got to continue putting it on frame and hopefully have a little streak of luck for the ball to go in the back of the net.
So when you play number 12 Oklahoma State shorthanded, and you get beat 6-0. And at the end of the game, when you got everybody around and they're drying off and just going, wow, what was that like? And they have so much they can still learn from that game to get them ready for conference. And
Yes.
you don't want to lose going into conference, but we're progressing. We're not all the way there at D1 yet.
Right. Well, and at the end of the game, really, when it came down to OSU, we gave up a penalty kick right before the half, which certainly did not help. But our players, it wasn't due to effort. Our kids, our players played with 100% effort and played to the very last second of the game. And, playing against an opponent who, is obviously one of the top teams in the country is difficult anyway.
They've given up one goal.
Yeah,
one.
well,
Didn't you say that? They've given up one goal this whole season.
Yeah, Avi corrected me. Actually, in an exhibition match, was the one goal that they conceded. Other than that, OSU has not given up goal in regular throughout their season, and are undefeated. But we had a lot of takeaway moments, I think, from that. That we need to address just tactically. I don't think within our conference we're going to see an OSU,
right?
But we just got to keep our head down and keep working hard. Like I said, our team, it's not due to effort. We've had a little bit bad luck here or there, but at the same time, we're creating a lot of opportunities, and we just got to be able to put them on frame and hope for the ball to go in the back of the net. Have a little bit of luck.
And like with every other sport in the athletic department, these are the teams that when we are eligible for postseason that you're going to run into in the playoffs because they don't have FCS and FBS other sports.
That's right. No, we're looking forward to the moment that we can compete for not just conference championships, but be able to have a bid to the postseason. So we are looking forward to that.
All right, Coach, we could go on for a while longer, but I just looked and we need to go.
Okay.
So safe travels down to Brownsville and come back with a dub.
Thank you. All right.
All right, folks.
Go
Line
Lions.
up. We'll see you in just a few minutes. Welcome back, everybody, to some more of Inside Lion Athletics. Clint Dolezel, head coach of your Lion football team, joins us now. Coach, tough one against Grambling on Saturday night. Didn't work out the way we were hoping. But man, what a great atmosphere. Let's just start with game day. That one went right from start to finish.
School did a great job. Athletic administration did a great job of all week prepping for this game. The turnout was unbelievable. We need that again. I'm sorry we didn't, perform the way we were supposed to have them coming back for the win. But, the atmosphere was great. The band was great. The student section was great. We got to keep having that, and we really appreciate it out there. It makes a difference on the field.
Talk a little bit about how this one got away from the Lions in the second half, but I think most of it 6 turnovers is hard to overcome.
No doubt. I don't care who you're playing. You have 6 turnovers, and you actually are in the game, and you go to OT. That's frustrating. Very winnable game that we don't come out on top of, and just too many mistakes, like you mentioned. We cannot turn the ball over. We've got to take care of that football. We had 2 fumbles and 4 picks, and pretty much 5 of those 6 were self-inflicted. Just on us. Just making mistakes, and we'll correct it. It's just frustrating. The whole locker room was frustrated. We licked our wounds on Sunday, and we got back to work on Monday.
Everybody back out there except for 3 or 4 guys that might not be available this week.
Yeah, a couple of offensive guys. Yeah, we're missing some guys. Not yearly, but weekly possibly on the offensive line. A couple guys, and then 1 defensive lineman we may have lost for season and a running back. So yeah, it was a very rough game for us as far as injuries go.
Before that game, we talked about, how it looked like on paper that there just might be a whole lot of chunking going on. And then, lo and behold, y'all get out there and start running the ball and ran it well.
Yeah, I think we can do both. It's for us finding that happy medium. Having played the position of quarterback, it can be sometimes tough to get in a rhythm when you're running 9 times and throwing once.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm not making excuses, for Ron, but it is. We've got to be able to find a happy medium. It's when you almost rush for 300 yards, it's hard not to give it, put it in the stomach of the running back and let him go get it, especially when the line's doing a good job of moving them off the ball. So, we just got to find it. There's a rhythm in there somewhere. There's a happy medium of, we'd love to, throw for 300 and run for 150 every game. I think that's your, overall happy medium. But, we just got to keep on plugging away.
What was the difference between the running game, and I would expect most of it's in the blocking, from the Davis game to this week?
And it's a little unfair. The Davis game,
they may be better against the run.
Well, they are. They're bigger. They were a little bigger. But we didn't run the ball. I know the yardage show that. It was a little unfair. I mean, when you're dropping snaps and those counting against your run and you're, not blocking somebody, with a receiver and they make tackles for losses, those go against your, your rushing yards too. We probably had minus 35 or 40 yards of rushing that were just self-inflicted in that game.
Mm-hmm.
Then you start getting behind the chains and you have to pass the ball where, we really didn't even try to pass the ball in the second half. I probably ran 6 times in UC Davis where we just said, you know what, we're going to throw it. And, this game we said, you know what, we're going to run it. And that's what we did. So it's good to know that when we just make our mind up that we can go do something, that we have that capability for both, running and passing. So, I told the recruits that when they come in. They asked what kind of offense we're on. Well, I said what kind of game plan it is for the week. If we can rush it for, whatever yards like we did, or we can pass it for whatever yards like we did in UC Davis. That's what we're going to do. And, it's just whatever works for us that week.
Talk about some of the guys that stepped up in this one. BK Jackson over 150, I think.
That's right.
That's the first time in a long time that the Lions have had that.
Yep. Again, kudos to the offensive line, and multiple guys played in there to be able to do that. And, Coach Townsend and, Coach Ewart did a great job with our guys prepping them all week in the run attack. And, we several guys, had a lot of rushing yards. So, we were pretty deep at running back. Thank goodness, because we've had an injury or two in there as well. No one's even seen KJ, who's, when we started this thing was supposed to be our number 1 back. We haven't seen him in a while, and, it's going to be a little bit before we do see him again. So, we feel good about our running back group. Feel good about our, up front for the most part. And as far as health-wise, we've got, like I said, a couple guys out this week possibly. So, it was nice to see that we can just run it when we need to.
All right, so if the guys needed any kind of impetus to shake off this last one, it helps when, number 11, number 12 team in the nation comes in, Sacramento State?
Yeah, another good football program, just like UC Davis. They're both storied, programs and been around for a long time and been successful. Both those are ranked teams, and, that's always the sky. Big Sky over there, it's a tough conference, and you better be able to play good football over there. You'll get run out of the gym and a lot of times and playing those opponents, and they're no different this year. They're very good. They just came off a big win against Nichols. I think it was 33-30 to 30-3 or 30-7-9.
I think the Colonels might have run out of gas in that one. Don't you think? They opened up with La Tech and then LSU.
I don't feel sorry for them. I don't feel sorry for them.
You don't feel for any. I wouldn't either.
So, it is what it is. And everybody does that early, in the season. You line your schedule up for those type games, and, it makes you better in the long run. I mean, we'll be better for it when it's all said and done. Once we, lick our wounds, get healthy, and get into conference, and have been playing some really good opponents. And obviously, like you said, we got a really good one coming in Sac State, who, handled us pretty well last year. But obviously, we're a different football team. They're a little bit different too. Their line up front's not quite, the same as they were last year. So that's, we got to be able to get after the quarterback. We got to, get off the field when we can. They play super fast, probably one of the fastest offenses as far as getting to playoffs. So, our defense has got their hands full, but they'll be up to the challenge as they've been every week for the most part. They've really kept us in a lot of these ball games when we've had a lot of turnovers. So, Coach Tyler's done a great job with the defense.
All right, Eric Rodriguez, we kind of, sort of, maybe expect to see him on Saturday.
Yeah, he's healthy. He got his stitches out
Yeah.
a couple of days ago, and feels good about it. And it'll still be very much similar to week one, where they'll both do some playing. With when they're both available, they both do some different things, and I like what they both bring to the table. So, yeah, it's nice to have him back in your back pocket for sure.
All right, Coach, how you going to get Mr. Peace straightened out? You're an old quarterback, so if there's anybody that knows how to straighten out a quarterback, it would be you.
Yeah, I mean, having sat in those shoes, like you said, talk to him. I've had games, where it didn't go my way either, and I've felt like jumping off a bridge sometimes. But you get over it. That's we've been doing it for a long time. He's been doing this for a while too. I'm sure this is not his first game where it was been rough, and we talk on him, love on him, and make sure he understands. He's one of our guys, and we know what he can do. We've seen him what he can do in UC Davis. So, just head up and move on. And that's a good room I have in there. Eric is very inspirational to him during, on the sidelines, talking to him, trying to keep his head up and going. And at no time during that game did really Ron ever get down on himself. Obviously when the game's over and the last one, you don't want to end the way it ended.
Right.
It sticks with you for a little bit, but he's over it. He's young, he's resilient, and he'll be fine.
All right. Well, folks, we're going to be fine on Saturday evening at 6 p.m. when Sacramento State and the Lions kick off right here at Memorial Stadium. Come on out again. It was a lot of fun Saturday. That atmosphere was great.
It was great. It was.
So we'll see you then. Coach, thanks for joining us.
You bet.
Go get them, folks.